Hey everyone, welcome to another video of Skyview. Well, today I suppose we'll talk about purpose. I know in the last video we were talking, I said that in this video we would be talking about, how and why and what, the functions and stuff of the system at play. Well, it turns out that not even I kind of knew what I was gonna talk about, to be honest with you. So what I had to do was dig a little bit into my research that I've been doing for the past 15 years actually. And I discovered something brand new. And honestly, I've been trying to find, lately I've been able to find the locations in which to be able to explain these specific discussions that I've been having with y'all. So don't think that the environments that I'm in are just because I'm trying to make a nice scenery. No, the environments I'm in actually are to help and reinforce what I'm talking about. Like I said, a natural system at play. In this video, what we will be talking about, it'll be literally discussing about how once coming to see all these things and gaining the ability or capability to take or maintain yourself through the time that is around you, or that you're experiencing yourself. From coming to know the system at play, this video will actually discuss with you and help you to understand what and why, those things are the way they are. And it turns out it comes down to one word: purpose. So this video simply will just be called purpose. And it just turns out that when it comes down to the purpose to things, that is just how we'll leave it as simple. We're going to want to actually get more in depth about purpose, and we will, just to make more of a clairvoyant understanding, or clairvoyant understanding of it. Now you see, every day, like just stated in the past videos, you will see and notice that I've been saying how, you go to work, you as a construction worker, when you're actually a musician, the isness in you is the musician. Don't forget to, do something that is within your humanity that helps bring happiness. For example, if you are a musician working as a carpenter or a construction worker, but the isness in you is the musician, you should probably make, write a song or play your guitar, or play an instrument, or, sing or something, do something at any moment, like you should probably do that, because that's going to help maintain your humanity. Of course, if you're a really bad person, maybe your humanity would be to, if you're someone who kills someone, your humanity would be to, go out there and do that. That's where you get your happiness from. But, I would say, why don't you, join the army or something, go, since you're desensitized, go out there and help them out or something, But anyway, so far we've been able to understand, all these, this path that we're on, that I've been trying to help you see. And so from my personal studies that I've been making, along, with references from other people who have helped me in guidance through this, personal friends, co-workers and stuff, family, even other, masters, like Sadhguru, and, Swamiji Prabhupada, Mark Nepo, a lot of people filled with wisdom, Buddha even especially, even Jim Carrey, even though he's kind of crazy too. A lot of people, there's a lot of people out there saying many things, and from doing the research I've come to see, that everyone's just trying to, and during this moment in this specific age specifically as well, in this age of Kali Yuga, where there are many distractions, it would only make sense that, we would try to define ourselves, or try to make sense of what's happening around us, to develop a personality that can help us, keep happy. And people will define happiness as as a very intoxicating ecstasy, needing to always keep the thrill going, or the party running, never really taking a day off, and the day that they rest, it's only one night, and then they're off again to Las Vegas, they don't stop partying and stuff like that. To some people, that's the life, that's what they'll define as happy, that's where they get their happiness from, and some other people will just find their happiness in just reaching to their basic nature, because they're a musician or an artist, and they'll do that once they get off of work, or like I stated, maybe you have children, maybe you got a bills to pay, or you got another job to do. You get so good at doing that too, you get so worked up and focused on all of that, that you start to lose self, you get even so good at, making sure to put some time in playing your video games or writing a song on your guitar or flute because that's what you're supposed to do. You even got so good at making it on time to your job, your boss has commended you, you got a raise, you're doing good in everything. You're that one person that also happened to be very prosperous in life and never really had to worry about, too many things ever blocking you or ever having to bring you down. While at the other side, the other person has already gone through the worst that they can go through. They've experienced some really bad situations and they've triumphed over those things. Both these people have done well, and now they've come to a moment of their installment where they can't seem to make sense of what's happening. The wife is happy, or the husband's happy, the children are fed, they got clothes, they have brand new clothes every school year, they got all the items they need, the house bills are paid, the lot is paid for, the cars are paid for, food's inside the refrigerator, the table even has extra food on it. Your parents are proud of you because you finished school, you got a degree, and your job is commending you right now. Everything's working fine. Everything should be dandy. Life should continue on fluently, but yet for some freaking reason, there's just that little part that's just not fully satisfied. You will tend to see some marriages fail because the couples will blame each other, when in truth that they really actually happen to love each other, and they actually do wind up coming together sometimes. And a lot of the time it's because of these senses that are not actually being given for the sake of knowing the independence within the relationship, for us to actually be able to sustain our own happiness within our own self. Because it's factually proven through science that with love as a chemical, it is addictive. Much like getting stoned or drinking alcohol and stuff like that, you become addicting to this, I guess you could say, form of life that becomes exhilarating and seems and brings a form of happiness that can be sustained. Yet, with all that confusion and all these things coming to play, and the natural system allowing these things to be, because of the natural law of free will that we have that allows us to go and grab those things and do those things, what then? You went from doing well, and now you're doing bad. But then all those things are still being paid for, and at the same time habits are still doing good. You're sustained in both areas, and it's all well. What then? Well, by this point, you'll come to the sense of being where even the person who has already triumphed over all the negative aspects and the heaviness and all the dankness and everything, seen and been through the worst, both of y'all have done so good and so well that now you're in your system and you're doing so good. You're abiding by the system and the system's treating you good and you're living well, but you're just not fully satisfied with the life that you've been given. This is the point where the first 3 videos were reinforcing the 4th one, where now you have come to see that all of your work is actually the way it's supposed to be and everything's okay. This is the part where you yourself have to do for yourself in the defining of purpose. And that is what this video is about. This video is to help in discussing purpose in the natural basic senses that everyone can understand, and not just simply going through what Buddha would say, to go and shave your head and stuff to gain a discipline, to be able to have an enlightenment. Some people really like their hair, you know what I mean? They don't want to go fucking shave their head. They actually want to live their life with a full set of hair, and fucking, well, some people actually have a full set of head too, Not all of us want to give up sex, go fucking live in a Shaolin, monastery or a Shaolin temple and, give up meat and sex and alcohol. Some of us actually enjoy having our one shot on the Saturday that we get back from work. You know what I mean? Some of us actually enjoy our one joint that we get to have when having to deal with a whole entire stressful full family. You know what I mean? It just makes sense to do these things to ourselves because that's just our natural habit, our natural way of going about things. That's okay. That is why, instead of naturally, of course, those people are onto a good point. Buddha, Mark Nepo, Swamichi, Jesus Christ, for some people, Satan and Lucifer and Beelzebub, and of course, we would not. I mean, all these things exist, and it's not our govern. And whether we would like it or not, or want it or not, it's just the purpose of it all is because it just is, Unfortunately, if you really understand humanity, you will see that humanity is a product of all of this. We are the purpose of the life that has happened on this world. I don't know. I haven't seen anywhere else on research or studies from the human beings that there is another form of life that actually is like superior than we are, or whether there's one that meets our standards, or whether we are the superior ones. But from what I've seen based around me, we are pretty fucking superior. We really are. We're very capable, not superior. We're very capable creatures. And with this being said, we should be able to have a grip on our own selves, you know? If we're able to make homes and able to make metals and bend them to our will, you know? And be able to do, and make airplanes, you know, and fly across the sky. If we're able to do that, we should be able to have a sense of purpose, you know? We should be able to, by the point that we've come to understand that everything we're doing about us is either being paid for, or is being used to, or we're giving time and our worth, our effort for these things to keep functioning. There's got to be a part in us that is going to complain when we ourselves are not sustained, or when what we're supposed to be naturally doing is not sustained. For example, my purpose is to bring existence to that which craves existence, right? So my purpose to make it more easier or simple would be this. You see inside there, there's like a little like green guy in there somewhere. I'm not very good with the camera, but it's right there somewhere, right? There you go, that guy. That guy right there. See that guy? It's like playing one of those puzzle games where you gotta find like the differences inside of it, or like try to find the things that are popping out, the little hidden objects inside the forest and stuff like that, right? That's what I do. I make stuff that's, you know, chilling out there that normally we don't see obvious. That's what I do. What do you do? Some people would say their sense of purpose would be, you know, tending to the needy. Others would say their sense of purpose would be being there for loved ones. Some people would say their sense of purpose would be to worship God. Another sense of purpose for others would be to destroy the weak. Another sense of purpose to some other people would be to be part of organizations that bring unity, or to create organizations that, you know, promote unity. And those are two different forms of purpose. That would be, yet at the same time, you would not come to discover this without having come to know, of course, you know, what it is that you're supposed to be feeling when you're actually wanting to know this part of yourself. I mean, like, who the hell is supposed to teach you exactly what it is that you're supposed to feel when you want to know what your purpose is? Because everything that you're doing is so damn perfect. You're good at your job, or you're that other person who has lived through the worst and actually survived. Like, what are you supposed to do? What then? Well, some people like being treated like kings and queens, right? And if they really knew why, okay, for example, that person over there likes being treated like a king or a queen, right? Why do you like being treated like a king and queen? Well, it makes me feel safe. For some people, I like being, you know, bought things. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, or I like, and if it's as simple as feeling safe, you'll come to realize one thing. Okay, then the purpose as to why that person likes being treated as a princess or a king or a queen is because it helps them feel safe. Within that simple thread, for yourself, you can take one little tiny idea as to what your purpose can simply be when you're giving. Because a purpose isn't necessarily something to just be taking. Although one's purpose would say, my purpose is to take away the pain of others. So little do you know is that is an offering or a service that you're still giving to the function of natural life. With this natural life function that you're offering, you're still giving a sense, you're still having a sense of purpose, even though you're just there to listen to everyone's aches and woe, you know? Even though you're just there to be that one person who just gets fucked over in the end, because that person just literally was only looking for a pity fuck, you know? Or that person just needed someone for the moment, and you just happen to be that one kind person that was around, and, you know, but if you know, because that's what your purpose is, you will learn to not wind up in situations like that, you know? You will learn to not be just so giving to the person who just wants to use you for the night. You'll be more open to the one person who's going to want you forever. because you learned what your purpose was, and because that's what you're going to always give into. Your natural purpose is going to always be part of the system. But when you come to see that all of this doesn't need you, you know what I mean, and it still will do as it does without you, and that it will always be, and that the job you're doing isn't naturally what you're supposed to be doing, but it is a function that allows you to live a prosperous life within this world, in society. And at the same time, you've also mastered how to make sure to have time for yourself by baking a cake or writing a song, because you're actually a musician and a culinary artist or a culinary student, not a fucking a worker at a ticket store or or a cashier register or a cashier. You know what I mean? Once you come to see all these things, you've gotten so good at it. Now you're just trying to find your place in it all, right? That's your purpose. Your place for it is gonna help. Your place, when you know your place, you've already come to define your purpose. With that, that'll be so much easier to help define yourself. If you'll know that, because you keep winding up with the one person. You keep telling yourself, right? There's some people out there that keep telling themselves, like women, if anything, keep telling themselves, I'm just trying to be good to the person, but he only uses me for the night. Only around when he's feeling bad or someone else heard something, he's only there for me. That's when he's around. But I really like that person. I care for that person. But little do you know, you're naturally like that. Because you're there for your mom too. You're there for your other friends. Your other friends are telling you, man, you just keep winding up with assholes. But you're so sweet and you're so kind. Little do you know is that your natural purpose is because you want to help that person who's an asshole. You want to help that person become a better person. You see the good in people. So that's why your naive ass gets fucked every night and is not cared for. Because you have no sense of what it is that you do in this function of natural life. And where mine is to bring existence to that which craves existence, which is making you notice and helping you notice, the little green guy in the leaves over there. Yours is just tending to the needy, tending to those who need love, because apparently you care so much, and you're always there for your mom, you're always there for your friends, but you're also always there for the assholes too. I'm sorry to tell you, you must like it. I'm sorry to tell you, you must like being treated like that, because you don't seem to stop. But I guarantee you, if you knew that that's why you do that, because you're just naturally a caring person, and your natural purpose is to give love to those who need love, because that is a specific purpose. Just saying this, my purpose is to give to the needy. That's a very general purpose. In other words, that person is just gonna pretty much do anything to give to anyone. You know what I mean? That person's willing to get hurt and messed up and everything like that. You know what I mean? But if your purpose is just to give love, and that's why you keep winding up only with specific people, and you notice that about your pattern in your life, because you're actually paying attention to what happens to you in your life, or in your little breath of life within this grand life stream, you will be able to help and find yourself in better situations, because you're no longer choosing or making the decisions naturally to wind up with assholes, because you naturally have the purpose to give love to those who need love. Or, you know what I mean? Not those who crave love. If you were to give those who need love, it's because they need love. But unfortunately, that asshole does not need love, or that bitch does not need love. Unfortunately, that's the language of everyone nowadays, so it helps us all understand. Plus, it's actually pretty useful. That bitch and that asshole, they don't need love. I'm sorry to tell you, they're an asshole, and that asshole and that bitch, they're the ones who need each other. They're the only ones who can live with one another. But instead, they go around ruining other people's lives because that other person loves very well, and that asshole is willing to take that, and that bitch is willing to take that. And guess what? Shit happens. Some of them have families and they're not even happy. Some of them are blaming each other, not even happy. Some of them beat each other and they say they're happy. It's like, it's a mad world. But if you gain a sense of your purpose, you won't wind up in situations like that, because you will have already defined thyself, and you will have already known how to manage your time. You will have come to learn that maybe you don't really care for gaining much knowledge. You just really just want to just bake cakes all day, or you know what I mean? You won't no longer confuse sex with love, or confuse love with things being bought for you. You know what I mean? Although there are some people who could only be, sustained in this sort of way, because that literally is who they are. They literally love material, and that's just what they do. You know, they got their own lesson to learn, and in time they will, and they got the entire eternity to learn it, you know, depending of whether they ascend or progress or whatever you want to call it, or transcend, or at least grow. We just call it growing. We don't say anything better than that. It's just simply growing. If they wish to grow, they'll grow, and they'll keep getting better and better and better. Other than that, to each their own, you know? You can only go so far to help someone, and that is the point of a purpose. Purpose is not necessarily something that you know, that you're supposed to just give, because naturally you offer something to the world. You know, some people are natural listeners. That is their purpose. They're just natural listeners. Some people are natural fighters. They will fight for their family. They're natural fighters. That's what they do. That's their purpose. And they will say in specific what they fight for. All I can say is, man, your purpose is a fighter. Your purpose is a soldier. But they themselves are supposed to know what in specific their purpose as a soldier or as a fighter or as a lover is. That's their job. My job is just to bring what's out there hidden and make it known to you. That's just what I'm supposed to do. I just say that, but it's your job to know yourself better than me. All I say, hey man, you seem like a fighter. And if you're saying, nah man, I'm not a fighter, I'm more of a lover. Really, dude? I mean, like, you kind of like hold steadfast to like fighting, but like, nah man, I'm more of a lover. Okay then, well then, you're the kind of person that will fight for what he loves then, you know? Like, that means if someone sticks up to or tries to break down what you love, you're going to defend it. And at the same time, because you choose to not fight, you're also that same person who will love greatly, you know, and you will always fight for what you love, not in the sense of defending, but when you're losing it and you really love that person, or you're losing something, you will do what it takes to maintain or to rebuild or to rekindle that love. That's the kind of person you are. That's how that works. So you see what I mean? But it's your job to know that. That's not my job. Your job is to know how yours and why you do that. That's the part you need to figure out for yourself. But if it's as simple as me just helping you say, hey, you're just a simple musician, man, then how are you supposed to be a musician in this world? Where do you find your plug-in? Do you feel good when you're making YouTube videos showing people how to play guitar? Or do you just feel good, you know, writing good music and having people listen to it because you just want them to know how you felt in the moment, and if whether there's someone out there who's going to relate to you, if they're going to feel good too. There's this guy named, I believe, I Am Nobody, or Odyssey, I believe it's Odyssey. He goes around to different towns and cities, and he pretty much just walks and gets the vibe and, you know, feels the city and everything, and he writes music based on of his experience and how he felt. And he posts videos up like that, and he writes videos, and even has videos of him jamming out with other people, and these are good things. You know, that's his way of contributing out to the world. He wants people to understand this perspective that he has. You know, he wants to help people understand. But he's a natural musician, but what does he contribute to the natural life stream? What does he contribute to natural life? And that's what he discovered, that he contributes this echo of resonance that he finds within the world, and he offers that to you all. In other words, his natural purpose is of echo, but only he knows specifically what he echoes for you. And for him, like he's described already, he literally echoes the world's music for you. He's the conduit for it, and he plays it, and he shows you, and that's what he gets through his world, through his body, through the form of life that he is. If someone else had that same purpose, they'd be able to show you the exact same thing, but through their formulated way, because of the way it's produced through them, through the natural product that comes from their life, through the natural form of purpose that is taken on so that can happen. Understand? Because the way of it, or the natural way of purpose for it, would be because he wants the listeners to understand him, to understand his music, to understand the world. Those three things build back straight up to the world that he's seeing, that he wants you to also experience. And he'll make these beautiful videos, and he'll do so. Understand? And that's pretty cool. There are many reasons and many purposes out there. All I can say and help you define is, hey man, it's as simple. Maybe you're just a simple musician, but now that you know that, or for example, like, what do you love doing? Some people love cars. Some people love being veterinarians. Some people love hunting. Some people literally love collecting coins. You know, there's even like purposes out there that don't even pay. You know what I mean? Some people just like collecting, like I said, coins, and that doesn't pay. You know, I don't even know, but that pays actually. If it does, it's pretty cool. I used to be a coin collector, and I love that. It's one of my things, you know, I love doing that. As long as I'm doing something, I'm a jack of all trades. As long as I'm doing something that helps me feel good, I'm always happy, you know? But like, some people literally need to only cater to their musicianship, and that's what makes them happy. But how do you contribute that to the world? You know, is your music being heard? Maybe your music just needs to be heard. You know, like, Are you a Christian? You want to dedicate yourself as a Christian? How are you going to offer that? How are you going to transcend the naturality as to what? Because I'm telling you, if all this stuff turns out to be fake, guys, how can you still uphold being a Christian when all the Bibles and everything turn out to be false and they were written by one of us? Like, how? How will you still uphold being a good Christian? Because you can still be a good Christian and uphold to it. You know what I mean? Like, there won't be no breaking of it. Don't lose hope. You know, there's still hope. Like, it's not just because something broke doesn't mean it's all gonna shatter. Don't lose hope. That's all I'm trying to say, you know? You can still be called that even if it all turns out not to be real. There is still a kingdom for you. Little do you know, because one single person, and all it takes is one form of life to be sprouted, and it be the one difference in the entire eternity worth of forms of life that have taken place at this very moment. Just because that one sprout of life has happened and it is completely different from all forms of life, there is a world created for it. Absolutely. Absolutely. That means there's a world created for you too. Absolutely. It doesn't make sense to me either to understand how it works, but because I know that the natural laws and the natural system at play and my purpose, as long as I contribute to it, I will never fall short from where I need to go. I will always be on my path. If it takes me longer to return back home where it is I wish to be, then that's okay, because as long as I'm on the right path, that's just the time I need to take. In truth, I don't govern time. Time has its own way of doing things. Time has its own way of doing things, not his or hers, its own way of doing things, and it does its own things. And then the aspects beneath time, they all govern those little areas, but they're just part of they're just embodiments, or just parts experiencing the where or the where or times or fractions in where time itself cannot be, since it is all of that. You understand? But with a sense of purpose, you'll know where you fit in. With a sense of purpose, you'll be able to, know how to function. With a sense of purpose, you won't trip out. You'll always be all right. With that, and with that, you will never ever actually feel angry or sad. And if you do, it's just it's okay, because maybe in reality, you are missing your lady, and you just need her to love you. You know, maybe you are. You know, just not too long ago, guys. 3 years ago, almost, this was literally the birthplace of this person you see in front of me. Well, in front of you guys. Sky. This is the place I was about to take my own personal life, everyone. And because there's some people out there who love me very much, they nursed me back to health. And now I'm here making these videos. I practiced the dark arts, and it literally took my life. Literally, it took my life. Because I couldn't continue going on being called Fubi. I had to change my name, honor everything in a new form and way. But I gained a sense of purpose when I lost everything and I was about to lose my own life. I gained a sense of purpose. I knew what I had to do. And as long as I cater to that, it doesn't matter if I'm happy or sad. That's always going to come. I'm a human being. But as long as I cater to that, I know I'll be alright. Because since I'm so good at it already, I also know who to ignore, who not to give any of that. Because, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to talk to you, but it's just simply not working. You know? Doesn't mean I'm not going to interact. It's just that you just know, guys. You get so good at being who you are, you just know better. You just know better. But hey, not that I want to be like all fiend and everything for the subscribes, but hey, don't forget to subscribe, y'all, Spread some love. Let's help everyone out. Let's help a lot of people out there, come to understand themselves or thyself in a very basic way, so that way we can all get a grip on ourselves and not feel like we have to shave our heads to gain some enlightenment. Some of us like having a full head of hair, not all of us feel the need to have to go that dramatic or that ecstatic or that over the edge or become that extreme, to gain some enlightenment. Just a friendly word from someone who just lives right down the street. Or maybe above. But for now, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Pass the love. Help people out. You got some input? Leave some down, down in the comments. Hey, look, that's the first time I do that. Down in the comments below, that's the place where you can leave them. Leave some input. I would love to hear what you have to say. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm incorrect about something. I'm willing to be wrong. If you got something that can be added to it, and you feel it can contribute to these videos, go for it. Like, add it so that way I can, you know, later on add it to the notes. I'm always taking stuff like that, adding them to the notes, y'all. Maybe I even encourage you. Maybe you should make a video based on it. Maybe you should discuss it, you know, and tag me in your channel, so that way I can help you out, so you can get your form of word out there to help contribute to the structure of our future society, or just natural life in this place, you know, or just to leave some hope, or maybe you just want to do something with yourself, you know. Who knows? Leave some love, you know. It helps out. The more the merrier, the better, you know. I'm willing to be wrong, like I said. I know I'm wrong, because there's at least someone out there who's going to be the complete opposite of what I'm saying, and I'm just saying, you're right too, bro. It takes a little bit of all of us to be able to create all of this. It's a product of life. We are a product of life. We can't escape what we are. And there's rules that govern us. A lot of rules that govern us. And if we learn to abide, we get so good at abiding, they stop pertaining to us, stop looking at us. And as long as we, you know, continue doing our purpose, we can always grow and shape and become more. You can even gain superpowers if you want in the next life, guys. It's that cool. Seriously. Just saying. Peace out, y'all.